Hello and welcome to another episode of the Bleeding Metal podcast. My name is Pia, my pronouns are she, her, and I am joined by my co-host today,
Susanna. My pronouns are also she, her.
And we want to talk about the new Linkin Park album From Zero that was released on November 22nd because we had this episode about the reunion where we shared our opinion about that. And then we said, okay, well, when the album is out, we should also talk about that. But Susanna, you just told me you need to correct something that you said in the previous Linkin Park episode.
Oh my God, yes, I have to bite my tongue to pretty much everything I said at the beginning of that episode, because you asked me, Pia, back then about how big Linkin Park was here in Brazil and how was the media coverage for their reunion, their new album, and so on. And at the time, I said that, yes, of course, Linkin Park is also a very big band here. But I wasn't too excited about the media coverage, everything that I was reading about their new album and their reunion I got from music websites and magazines and things like that. But they started their world tour here in Sao Paulo last month, and it was huge, and they were everywhere. Every mainstream media was talking about them. It was a huge thing. So that was number one thing that I have to correct from our last episode is that, yes, they are big band, yes, and they are being covered by mainstream media everywhere.
Yes. But that's cool. That's the same over here. They are also played in our local radio station, and they usually don't have the newest songs, but they had the Emptiness Machine. And yeah, I think that's pretty cool that they have this attention from everybody right now.
Yeah, and I think it's well deserved. I think it's not only like we discussed on the last episode about the new singer, Emily Armstrong, not only is she deserving of all the attention, but also now that we have an album to talk about. Back then we only had one song, but now that we have a whole album, I think it's a very strong new chapter for them. So they deserve the attention for sure.
Yes, and with the album, I think Emily Armstrong also proved that she 100% deserves to be there. I didn't question that before, but on the album, she shows what she's able to do with her voice and that her vocals fit the band so much. Sometimes it sounded a bit like on purpose that she did stuff that Chester was doing, just like to prove, come on, look, I can do that too.
Right.
And I can do several other things. But they also did a good job here in writing the whole album for her vocals. Because
right.
I didn't find one song where I thought, well, the vocals don't really fit. And they found a great mixture of Mike Shinoda's vocals and her vocals. So that's what I noticed right in the beginning when I listened to the album.
That's true. I think that was not something that I consciously tried to look for, like listening to the album and try to find where she fits and where she does not. I did not go there. But the fact that it didn't occur to me, that means that she was, first of all, she was doing a very good job. But secondly, I think, yes, the album was very well written, because I think it would stand out if she was trying too hard or forcing something that doesn't sound natural to her. I think it would pop up while we were listening to the album, and that didn't at all. She really feels like part of the band 100%.
And what I also liked is that they worked with these snippets from the studio, or I don't know if that is really footage from the studio, but when you listen to the album, on several tracks, you have the feeling to be sitting there while they record her vocals. Because in the beginning, they discuss the album title, or they present her the album title, and she's like, From Zero, like right from the beginning, or something like that. So we have that, and then later on, they switch from a ballad to the heaviest song on the album, and they say, now put on your screaming pants. And sometimes when the song ends, they are like, yeah, that's it, that's cool. And to the fans that who are listening to that, it seems like we're right there with them.
Uh-huh,
so,
uh-huh.
so that's another very, very smart thing that they did.
It seems almost like they are guiding the fans, like this is what is
Mm-hmm.
happening now, and now this is the direction that we are taking, and kind of guiding you through the whole experience. That's nice. One thing that I noticed about her specifically was that the show in São Paulo, it was streamed live on cable TV here. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if that's something that happens in Germany as well. Is that common? No.
Not really. We have a TV station here. We share that with France. It's called Arte, and they have concerts there, but not on the mainstream TV channels. They don't do that. We have a very big TV streaming, like you stream it from the internet, and they
Mhm.
also have other stuff that they produce. And they also had this Wacken live footage when they did
Mhm.
that. Also the COVID Wacken edition, they had that. And I could imagine that they might do something like that, or that they did it. I don't know. I didn't follow that, but I think I would have had some advertisement if they would
Yeah,
have
for sure. For
presented that.
sure. Yeah, it's not common here at all. It happened before that I can remember, like I think last year when Madonna performed here. She did this huge concert on the beach. It was free, like millions of
Hmm.
people attended live, and it was streamed on TV. And I think even like open TV. The Linkin Park concert was streamed live on cable TV. I think one open channel and one cable TV channel
Hmm.
that is specialized in music and concerts and culture. And I think it was very smart of them to do that as part of their marketing strategy for the album and also for the new chapter of the band. But yeah, going back to what we were talking about, Emily, I thought it was very interesting that I watched the show live. I thought it was really, really cool.
Hmm.
Nice opportunity for me because I was not going to travel and pay the tickets to go see them live, but I got to see the whole thing from the
Hmm.
comfort of my own couch. She was very natural with the band. She didn't really feel like she was forcing anything. She felt very comfortable, I think. And to what you were saying about her vocals on the album, I thought that in the live show, she didn't feel like she was trying to kind of prove her worth. I didn't feel like she was, let me do this show offy thing so that people will
Hmm.
accept me. You know, she felt really, really natural. Like she was doing her thing, which of course she was, and she's been doing this for a long time. So I thought it was very cool that even her attitude on stage, like I think she was kind of sharing the spotlight with Mike Shinoda in talking to the audience and being like the main thing on stage. Even that, I thought it was very natural. She was not trying to be the main character, but she was not hiding either. She was not trying to be the rock and roll attitude, kind of forced thing. I thought she was really, really like owning the whole thing. I thought it was really cool.
Even before the album was released, they had as a second single "Heavy is the Crown,"
Yeah.
and I also thought that was a really smart move, because even though they always say she is not just a successor and everything, she is. Let's be honest here. She kind of is, because she is the new lead vocalist of Linkin Park, what he was before. And of course, it's a very heavy crown to wear. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so I think that was a really smart answer also to everything that happened after she was introduced and after they released the Emptiness Machine. And everything that followed then, we discussed in the episode. We will link that in the show notes, of course, and you can listen to our opinion there. But yeah, I think that was also really smart to put that one as a second single.
Yeah.
And when we look a bit closer at the album, what I found really funny is that the album is really short. It's only 30 minutes, another smart move. And the ending sound is the first sound when you put on repeat. So it starts anew again.
Oh, I didn't notice that. That's very clever.
Yes.
Yeah, nice, nice.
So if you want more, you don't even notice that the album starts anew.
And you kind of don't pay attention that it's short. It's just like, oh, again, nice. It's played again. Yeah. I usually listen to new albums on repeat if I like it. I have no problem listening to the whole thing again right away if I like it. So, or multiple times if I like it. So that's a smart move. I think Heavy is the Crown is one of my favorite songs in the album. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's the most innovative song, and I think it's very maybe classic to what they are always doing. There is no anything super different or new about the track, but I think it works. And yeah, it's a very smart statement for them that they are aware. They are aware of the public's reaction to her
Of
not
course.
being Chester, but having the same job as him. Yes.
Yeah, their marketing machine is running, and of course they knew what would come after the introduction. But what you just said, I had an episode for my German podcast Pommesgabe with two guys who are really, really big Linkin Park fans. And we discussed the whole album, and they also said that the album is very gimmicky because they have a lot of references from former albums. And when you look at the Linkin Park discography, they always had two albums that belonged to one another and that were kind of the same musical direction where they went. And here you could put songs from the album to a specific era. Like, for example, the Emptiness Machine has these vibes from Meteora and Minutes to Midnight. They are separated eras, but that would be in between. Cut the Bridge would fit on Minutes to Midnight. And Heavy is the Crown with the hip hop part in it is also between Hybrid Theory and Meteora. And they are the first two albums. So that would be the first era. And you could continue with the other songs as well, except for Overflow, which sounds like Mike Shinoda's solo project Fort Minor, and maybe a bit like Thousand Suns. But yeah, that's also very funny, and I think Linkin Park fans would like that a lot, or like that a lot. And people like me who are also fans of the band but didn't follow their whole career and didn't listen to every album so intensely, I didn't really notice that. So I was like, okay, yeah, of course, that was nothing that I was wondering about because every band has a specific style. And of course, they take something from the previous albums to the new album. So I wasn't aware that you could really pick the eras and look at the songs and say that fits here and that fits there. That's a very funny thing, but I think it also pleases the fans, and it also
It's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it also fits that they show what Emily Armstrong is able to do, and that in the end every album could have also been released with her and it wouldn't sound that different, maybe. Oh my God, Linkin Park fans, diehard Chester fans will come after me for this sentence, but but I think that she also in the live footage she can sing all the old stuff, and yeah, it's a perfect match.
That's what I was going to ask you. That maybe the album structure is kind of a nod to what she can do live. Because if she can sing new stuff that kind of sound like older Linkin Park stuff, and of course when they are performing live, they're going to play all the classics and they're going to play more or less all the eras of the band. So if they have already a first album that already shows that everything that she can do and that she can that she can cover the whole Linkin Park discography vocally wise, then fans have to worry too much about, is she going to be able to perform that one classic that I love so much live? Or is this, because it happens sometimes with bands that they do perform all the classics, but because of lineup change, they kind of change the song a little bit as well, so that it's performed live, but not the same thing. So if they have the first album already showcasing everything that Emily can do, then maybe that's a way of putting fans at ease that, okay, you can go to concerts, it's going to be fine.
You will enjoy it. Yes. But I was surprised of myself because I'm not a person who likes ballads a lot. And they have this ballad right in the middle of the album over each other. And first of all, I like it. I like it a lot. And I also have the impression that the song is kind of written specifically for Emily because it fits her voice so much.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. I think it's something that we talked about being curious about on our last episode. Like, of course, the older fans are going to be worried about her being able to do what Chester was doing, but we were also curious to know what she can do herself that is different or beyond what the band was already doing. So maybe that's like a tiny door that was opened with this ballad that we will see more of on the next albums. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and that's also something, as I just said, they have this kind of twin album. So 2 albums belong together. And when this album is a kind of, we take something from this era and something from this era, what will the next album sound like? That's going to be interesting if they stick to that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Or maybe they're going to start a different era, and that's going to be the next album is going to be the first of another one that is going to come next and be the twin for that album. So maybe this one is just kind of preparing the field for things to come. Maybe just give fans a little bit of she can do this, open the door to new things, and then maybe the new era is really going to start from the next album. The things that I was reading about this one is, at least here, I think the response from fans and from media was really good. Everyone thought that this was a good album, that this was a good first step on this new chapter. I didn't read anyone saying that this was a completely new thing or that the album was very inventive or different in any way. But everyone was saying that this is like Linkin Park is back. I think that's the one thing that I read over and over, that it was like a solid step on, back on what they were doing before. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know if they are going to continue on this track of what they were before, or if they are going to really take new directions now that they are kind of a new band or new chapter with the band. This album didn't tell me anything yet. It was just, yes, we're good, we're back. That's all I've read. It's like, it's a good album and they're back. But
let's go on tour. Let's bring it on stage. That's what I thought when I watched the video for Two-Faced, that you can really see that they are ready for action.
Yes, and they seemed happy. I think that was, and that's what I noticed on the live stream as well, that I thought they had like good energy. I think it's the kind of thing that you can't really measure, but you can feel that they are happy. They have energy, that they are ready for more. And I don't know if they are already working on other things, because I don't know how long it took for them to produce this album. Maybe they're focused on the live thing, but they seemed really happy and kind of okay with one another. Their rapport seemed fun, and watching the videos and the kind of behind the scenes that they released was really cool. I was happy for them. I think we can expect good things. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite song on the album?
I wrote down here, like I wrote 3 because I think Heavy is the Crown is one of my favorite, but I do have to say it's not very creative, but I do have to say that Emptiness Machine was stuck in my head for such a long time that I have to put it on the top. It's kind of I guess an easier, catchy song, but I think it's really cool, and I really like the lyrics. And because I like heavier music than what Linkin Park usually do, I like Casualty more. So I think those 3 are my favorites.
Casualty is definitely, Casualty is my favorite song on the album.
Nice.
I also like I Gave You Everything I Have, or IGYEIH is the song title.
That's hard to say.
Because that's also a straightforward song.
Yeah.
I didn't like Cut the Bridge so much because of the very annoying drums. It's a bit too loud. And I, for some reason, didn't like Two-Faced that much. And Stained is the poppiest song on the album.
Yeah.
And they don't have screams in there. And I don't know, that's something that I don't like so much. So I'm also here for the heavier music, so Casualty.
Yeah. I felt like I was very in between, that I like the heaviest song, but then I like the catchiest as well. So,
Mm.
and I didn't like any the stuff in between. So you either give me something very catchy and very nice to sing along, or you give me something heavy, and then I'm happy. I'm not a Linkin Park fan. So as we were talking before recording, if I'm going to check the album as a fan, then this is just not for me. Unfortunately, I hate when this happens, but unfortunately, I found myself skipping tracks. I was listening to
Mhm.
the album all by myself, and I was already like, no, I don't like it. I was skipping tracks. I feel bad when this happens, but it did, because I'm not a huge fan of rap music. So of
Mhm.
course I'm in the wrong place listening to Linkin Park.
Linkin Park, yes.
And I don't love electronic music. I'm okay with electronic music when it's heavy. So when it's like industrial metal and things like that. I like when the song is heavy with a little touch of electronic. Or but when it's more electronic than heavy, then it's not my thing. So all the tracks that had a lot of that for me was skip.
Mm.
But if I'm going to listen to the album and talk about it from a more objective perspective, then yes, I think it's a very solid album. And I think I really do get the feeling of Linkin Park is back. They are back from where they were. They are not like steps behind and still trying to prove their
Yes.
worth anymore. And I think Emily more than proved her worthiness, if that's the case. So I was very happy for her. And I really felt that the album was very solid. It's just not my kind of music, not the kind of music that I'm going to be listening when I'm at home alone. Just not my favorite. But I will sing along to Emptiness Machine every time if it pops up in one of my playlists, because that
Nice.
one I liked.
Perfect. So I would say they did everything right with the
Yes,
album and with the tour and with how they presented that.
yes, yes.
Every marketing manager should really make notes on this.
Yes, yes. One thing that I would like to talk about, that I was very impressed talking about marketing, was their media effort. When they were here, they played two shows in a row in Sao Paulo, November 15th and 16th, I think. And
Mhm.
they recorded the live version of Two Faced in Sao Paulo as well.
Mhm.
And the whole show was filmed for a documentary that they announced when the live stream was ending. And they didn't release any more details about that, but apparently they are planning on making a documentary. I think maybe it's going to be about their comeback, and with live footage and maybe behind the scenes. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. And it's going to be shown in movie theaters next year.
Mhm.
So that's going to be exciting. I thought it was very interesting that while they were showing the live stream, they had very good audio quality for the audience. So
Mhm.
sometimes it really felt like you almost couldn't hear the singers very well, because the audience was very loud. But
Mhm.
I don't think that was by mistake. I think they know what they're doing when it comes to technical stuff. And I've noticed other artists doing that as well, that they noticed that, especially online, the Brazilian audience can be amazing. The response right there at the concert is always great. I think it's being said again and again about Latin American audience, that they are really loud, that they sing along to everything, that they have funny signs. Yeah, so that they're awesome. And they use that a lot. I think in the live stream, they really had the audio for the audience amped up so that you could hear everyone singing along to pretty much all the songs, and also online. So I think live streaming the whole thing on TV, giving more people the chance to comment on the show kind of live on social media, was a really interesting move for their marketing effort for this new album. Because I notice other bands, I think they have an eye on us Brazilians now, that, want to have a lot of engagement online. This is pro tip for bands out there. If you want to have a lot of engagement online, learn one word in Portuguese. Show the Brazilian flag for no reason. Any reference, film yourself drinking caipirinha, whatever, people will notice and people will just absolutely flood your your social networks talking about, unfortunately, people will also flood your posts with comments in Portuguese and jokes that you will probably not understand, but it's going to be overwhelming. And I think they made good use of that. I think starting the year, filming the first live video for the new album here, having this amazing stream, amazing quality, both sound and image was amazing. Filming the live concert here for their documentary that's going to be released next year. All of this was really smart. And I'm actually curious. I felt into the trap as well. I'm not even a huge Linkin Park fan, but now I'm curious now. I want to see what they're going to do with all the amazing footage that they got here.
What Susanna is trying to say here, bands, you should come to Brazil and play concerts there.
Yes. I don't know if you checked it out, but I think it was AO Storm that they released a song called "Come to Brazil."
Yes, because
not AO Storm. It was Offspring.
Offspring. Yes. Because so many people commented on their posts, "Come to Brazil, play here." It's a kind of running gag between them and their fans, I think.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of a gag for every band, but we take it seriously. Come on, come to Brazil. And we promise you that, of course, we don't have money to go to all the concerts. Of course, you only play 2-3 cities, and we can't travel all the time to where you're playing. But we will reward you with a lot of online engagement. That we can do. We can promise you that.
Awesome. So you can also provide us, the podcast, with love online by liking our posts and tell your friends and everything. We're at Bleeding Metal Pod.
Yes, please do.
Thank you for listening. Also pay attention to our previous episodes, especially the Linkin Park one that I will link in the show notes. Thank you for listening and bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.